Last time you were here, you're saying that Akon City was supposed to open in 2026.
Yeah.
But then COVID hit and...
Right.
So where is Akon City at right now?
We're still on track. Like, we'll be in a good position to be able to invite the first wave of tourists, you know, people that's coming to visit.
So Akon, it's time for you. As you said, you will go on a world tour. It's time for you to start breakdancing. It's time for you to start rapping, singing, or whatever you can do. Because it came out of your mouth, you will go ahead and refund everybody's money back.
Hello. In 2018, Senegalese American musician Akon announced one of the most ambitious projects ever, the Akon City in Senegal, obviously inspired by the very successful Wakanda movie. And it's a futuristic city. That is what it was billed as. That was 2018, and obviously fast forward, this is 2024, and Akon City remains a mystery for a lot of people, the diaspora out there in the US, in Britain, wherever, and even for African Senegal. And there seems to be a lot of heat going towards Akon, the musician. What is the story of this Akon City? A very exciting project that obviously got Africa and the African diaspora talking. Nigerian YouTuber Steve Nduku took a trip down to the city and he made a discovery that I would like to share with you, and let's have a discussion. Take a drive.
We drove inside the city and this was all I saw. This right here is the only building that has been built in Akon City. Although this building looked futuristic, but this project is looking like a disappointment. An interview with Akon, he blamed the pandemic, saying everything was pushed back by 2 years.
The thing about the COVID, yeah, it kind of stalled a bit because a lot of partners and solution, providers obviously had to lock down, but it didn't affect more so of the paper pusher side of it. So now we're in a stage of feasibility studies, environmental studies. Those are things that you can't do it unless you're actually on the grounds. So that kind of slacked up a little bit, but now we're back pretty much on track, still moving. Now construction is starting 2023. But we still have the 3-year window for the first phase to be done. And our goal is to be the first phase to be done still by 2026 to make the Junior Olympics in Senegal.
Although this proposed $6 billion city is not what Akon promised us to be, Akon has some outstanding achievements to his name.
Which you actually helped millions of people, lighting Africa.
Right.
Brought electricity to places that have never had it.
After Akon made millions of dollars in the music industry, he wanted to send resources to Senegal, which is where he's from. In 2014, Akon Lighting Africa was launched, and the first year of launch, this project brought solar energies to 14 different African countries. And by 2022, Akon Lighting Africa had installed 100,000 solar power street lamps and had created more than 5,000 jobs. Because of Akon, 28.8 million people can now enjoy the same benefits of electricity that other parts of the world enjoy. But building a Wakanda-inspired city was out of his reach. The first stone was laid in 2020, and since then, the whole area around it has been mostly grassland with animal grazing on it. Citizens have been promised mouth-watering job opportunities and a better economy, are now beginning to question the efficacy of a deal with the federal government and the celebrity Akon.
This was a $6 billion project, and Akon obviously went out in a big way to fundraise. Chinese banks got involved. He got a credit facility, and there seems to be very little movement on the ground. As an idea, obviously, Akon City was a city that was meant to celebrate the best of Africa, the finest of Africa, and obviously was going to attract a lot of tourists from across the world. And more specifically, this was meant to invite our brothers and sisters who are out there to get a sampling of Africa, to embrace the continent. a return to the continent if you wish. And as an idea, this was something worth celebrating. So obviously Akon is getting a lot of heat now because from what's on the ground, there is not enough movement. And he has an explanation for what he believes is a predicament that has stopped the project from going full force forward around the timelines of 2016. But listen to the brother and be the judge. Is Akon City ever going to happen?
And let's start off with that. Because last time you were here, you're saying that Akon City was supposed to open in 2026.
Yeah,
But then COVID hit. And
right.
so where is Akon City at right now?
We're still on track.
Okay.
The thing about the COVID, yeah, it kind of stalled a bit because a lot of partners and solution, providers obviously had to lock down, but it didn't affect more so of the paper pushing side of it, So there's a lot of admin that's done, a lot of agreements that's still negotiated via Zoom and things like that. So we was able to get a lot of that out the way. So now we're in a stage of feasibility studies, environmental studies. Those are things that you can't do it unless you're actually on the grounds. So that kind of slacked up a little bit, but now we're back pretty much on track, still moving. Now construction is starting 2023.
Aha.
But we still have the 3-year window for the first phase to be done. And our goal is to be the first phase to be done still by 2026 to make the Junior Olympics in Senegal.
Very recently, Senegal has been in the news for all the right reasons. They just got the youngest president ever elected on the continent this year, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, at just 44. Africa obviously has a much younger president in his 30s, but that president ascended to office via a coup d'etat. What has happened in Senegal is an election that has essentially kicked out a regime that they perceived was pro-Western. So there's so much happening on the continent. There's a lot happening in Senegal that is worth celebrating. So Akon City obviously ran into a lot of headwind, and now individuals who participated in the fundraising are making demands to have their funds returned. I wonder how this will sit with the new government in Senegal, headed by President Bassirou Diomaye Faye and his Prime Minister, Ousmane Sonko. Young men who are obviously very progressive, whose government will be keen to look into the affairs of the youth, because a city such as this was bound to create tons of employment for the young people of Senegal and create jobs that would exist for the longest period of time. This was a city that was meant to be built just some 100 kilometers from Dakar, the capital. But nonetheless, a seaside city, very futuristic, perhaps way ahead of its time. A lot of criticism for some of the images that we've seen in terms of what it's supposed to look like. Nothing remotely African. Obviously, a lot to buy Akon.
So Akon, it's time for you. As you said, you will go on a world tour. It's time for you to start breakdancing. It's time for you to start rapping, singing, or whatever you can do. Because it came out of your mouth, you will go ahead and refund everybody's money back.
But was this too ambitious for Akon to achieve? Credit to the brother. Akon had a project, a lighting project that lit up a lot of countries, a lot of cities within the West African region. That is huge. To be able to light up the streets in the manner that he did had a great impact. So in terms of leading a project, Akon obviously had the goodwill of Africans in the diaspora, Africans on the continent. And he engaged a lot with presidents within that region to be able to articulate the idea that he had for this Akon City. The former president, Macky Sall, who partly supported this project, is now out of the way. As is the case with many African countries, projects tend to die with those who are in leadership. So Akon will have a lot of work to do.
I'm steady trying to find the motive.
One, on the fundraising element, because already there are doubts and demands are being made that, if this project is never going to take off, refund our monies. But beyond that, will he be able to recapture the goodwill that he had with the former regime and work with this new government that has just come in to ensure that the project lives to see the light of day? As it is, there's just a single structure, or maybe just two structures, out of the huge project that he was hoping to execute by the year, at least the first phase within the first 3 years. So if this is the only bit that is on the ground, then you can understand why there's a lot of agitation and a call for the monies to be refunded. It doesn't help that his name is Akon, so people have coined out the name Kon out of his project. Will time be able to save this brother? Will time be able to save this project? Because this is a project that is hopefully viable, but would have great meaning for Senegal and for Africa, and especially those who are willing to travel and visit. Futuristics, you're looking at a tech city, you're looking at hotels, you're looking at schools, you're looking at industries that are going to produce so much for the economy of Senegal and essentially affect the economy of the region. Tech cities are now a fad or a necessity in many African countries. You'll travel to Kenya, you'll find the tattoo cities of this world, you'll find the Akon City. And these are cities that are looking at embracing technology and pushing the African agenda into the future using technology, appreciating that where the world sits today, you have got to work with the youth. And these are the people who will likely tap into this. Will Akon City survive? I hope it will. Was this a scam? I don't know. You be the judge. So share in the comments what you believe may have happened or what your hopes or fears are for this project. But from where I sit, I hope that Akon City can live to see another day, that Akon City can come to life, that we may be able to embrace it and celebrate the beauty of the continent, celebrate our talent, and just the possibility that, yes, in Africa, we can do this for ourselves. This has got so much potential and meaning for the young people of Africa, but most importantly also for the black humanity out there to be able to execute such a huge project at a momentous time in our history. So if you're new here, again, I want to say thank you for checking out the content. Share your thoughts, like and subscribe, and of course ring that bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. This is definitely Afrocentric, and if you are Afrocentric enough, then I know this story will resonate with you. This will be something that you can find important for African diaspora out there. Many thanks for your time, and we'll see you at the next video. I'm out.